On today's podcast, we're talking about how believing you can make a difference is a powerful current that carries through everything you do. Belief for your mission, belief in your people, belief in the impact you can make. Cultural belief is powerful. Welcome back to The Thermostat with Jason Barger. If you're currently on a commute, a walk, or just a micro break in your day, glad you're making time to step back, to think, and to reflect on the next steps on your journey. I've never been more convinced the best leaders and team cultures in the world are the ones that make time to step back, breathe in good oxygen, and calibrate their thermostat. I hope today's conversation leaves you feeling grounded and inspired. Now let's dive into today's topic to engage our minds and hearts in order to authentically lead and create compelling cultures wherever we are in the world. Hey everybody, it's Jason, and welcome back to the Thermostat Podcast, wherever you are and however you're coming to the podcast today. So glad you're here. Welcome back. For those of you that have been a part of this from the very beginning, then you are probably as amazed as I am that we are in Season 7, believe it or not, Season 7 of this podcast, which means we have over 160 episodes now. So again, if you've been with us from the very beginning, thank you so much. So glad this continues to add value and contribute to your journey, your life, your work, and thanks for showing back up. If you are new to the podcast, then wow, we've got 160 plus episodes for you to dive into. Great interviews and chats I've had with thought leaders from around the world, micro pods about all kinds of different topics and subjects that I think will be interesting and add value to your journey. So buckle up, dive in, and enjoy the content. And again, my purpose, my commitment to you all is that whenever you're listening to this in your week, your month, your day, whatever the ethic is for you, that this will be a place for you to step back, to think about your own life, to give you some things that hopefully bring some positive mojo to your life and your work and help you navigate your way forward. But before we dive into today's topic, if you will do me the quick favor, of course, if you'll stop and rate the podcast 5 stars, of course. I hate that I have to ask for this, but this is what I keep being told, is you have to continue to do this. So if you take a moment, rate the podcast 5 stars, leave an authentic review on whatever platform you're listening to, your own words about why it's meaningful to you. Those are the ways in which the algorithms work and help people find the podcast, and also it spread quicker. So if you'll do that, I would really, really appreciate it. And then, of course, anytime you share it with your colleagues, your friends on social media, whatever's authentic to you, your team members at work, those are the ways in which this reaches more people and amplifies the message. And that is certainly the point. It's all free, so throw it out there, and hopefully that it makes a difference to everyone who's listening. So thanks so much. So belief is powerful. Belief is powerful. And so one of dictionary.com's definitions of the word belief just says confidence, faith, trust. Confidence, faith, trust. When we truly believe in someone or something, we carry confidence, faith, and trust with us. It shows up in all that we do. I subscribe to this, this thought, this mindset for all of us. But I'm also been very clear about this about myself for at least the last decade, but probably longer. But certainly over the last decade, I have become more aware of the fact, for my own, hopefully, emotional intelligence, awareness around myself, is that I understand how important belief is to the way in which I move throughout the world each day. For anyone who has ever taken the Strengths Finder assessment by Gallup, then this language may, resonate with you. And if not, I encourage you to do it because I think it's a great tool and an easy, accessible tool to help give language to learning things about yourself and the way that you are naturally wired and oriented for the strengths and the mindset that you bring to almost every situation and certainly table you sit at or your work, your life, all of that. But anybody who's taken it, then you know that you get the typical thing is you get your top 5 strengths is what the assessment gives you. There's certainly other assessments you can do to take a deeper dive, but the regular one gives you your top 5 strengths. And one of my highest strengths is belief. And so I've known this about myself, that if I don't believe in something, if I don't really understand or believe at my core in the mission or what we're trying to accomplish, the vision for why we're doing something, then I recognize that over time I'm going to lose interest. And in the end, even if it's something that I could be good at, eventually it's not going to sustain me, because at my core, I need to believe in what I'm doing. And I'm at my best when I understand the mission, I understand the purpose of what we're doing. I can see that, and then it brings this stamina, this drive, and this passion for what it is that I'm trying to accomplish. And so I've known this. This has been a filter for me that I certainly have started to understand that, again, even if it's something that I could be good at or that I could be quote unquote successful, I know that at the end of the day, sooner or later, if I don't believe in what it is that I'm doing or the impact that we're making, then eventually I will lose energy. So I know this about myself. And I also am starting to realize that more and more teams and organizations, as we learn more about coming out of the pandemic and this desire for more meaningful work, is that more and more people, even if they don't test out as a belief in their top 5 strengths, that they want something to believe in. And they understand that when things are clear to them of the purpose and what we're trying to accomplish and the impact that we're hoping to make, that there's an energy that's fueled by that confidence, that faith, and that trust. It arrives and it comes to us. Belief is powerful. So, on today's podcast, we're talking about how believing you can make a difference is a powerful current that carries through everything you do. Belief for your mission, belief in your people, belief in the impact you can make. Cultural belief is powerful. But before we dive into today's topic, let's pause, take a quick break, and we'll be right back. If you haven't done so already, we hope you'll visit Amazon or Amplify or jasonvbarger.com to check out Breathing Oxygen, my new book that is all about breathing good oxygen into ourselves and mindsets that fuel ourselves and the teams and the organizations around us. Positive, healthy thinking is as essential to great leadership and building a winning culture as the air we breathe. Leading yourself and a team of people has never been more complicated than it is today. As a leader, every move you make is either breathing life into your organization or slowly killing it. The atmosphere can easily turn toxic with negativity, blame, and doubt poisoning the culture. Just like every being on the planet needs good air to breathe, every organization needs leadership that breathes life into its people to sustain the energy required to complete its mission. Breathing Oxygen focuses on 6 key leadership mindsets that breathe life into any team: clarity, inclusivity, mental agility, grit, rest, and ownership. Join us, read, and share Breathing Oxygen.
Available now from Amplify Books on Amazon and jasonvbarger.com.
So we're talking about belief on today's podcast. And when we believe, again, from the dictionary.com's one of their definitions, that belief brings, when we do believe, it brings confidence, faith, and trust to everything that we do. It shows up when we truly believe in something. We find energy in new ways for whatever we are facing. My cousin Rick, a.k.a. Rico Ocho, I say that affectionately, recently sent me a copy of the Zingerman's newsletter. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with Zingerman's, let me explain. Zingerman's Deli, which is the famous deli that founded in 1982 in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Yes, I'm from Columbus, Ohio, and so celebrating anything from Ann Arbor isn't exactly what I do regularly. However, I will throw a nod and respect to Zingerman's. So this deli in 1982 founded in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and it's grown into a collection of food-related companies and entrepreneurial ventures, mostly in the Ann Arbor area. And they have a massive following and certainly have been celebrated for having wonderful culture and the spirit with which how they've built these companies. So the heading of the newsletter that he sent to me and wanted to share this with me, the heading said, "Why believing you can make a difference makes such a difference." And the whole newsletter focused on the belief that drives their employees, their communities, to create a culture where people act like they care and care enough to act. Now, something that I would, some precision to the language that I bring to this is that we don't want people to just act like they care. We want people to actually care. But we absolutely, from that caring, we want them then to care enough to act. And in one of their statements of belief that Zingerman's has as a company, it says, "We believe small actions make a big difference. We believe a diverse group makes better decisions. We believe each person is a creative, unique individual who can do great things in life." They believe it. They teach it. They anchor this cultural belief within all that they do. One person can care enough to act and make a difference in small ways every single day. And from the looks of it, that cultural belief fuels them with confidence, faith, and trust that permeates throughout their entire organization. It has sustained them over the long haul. And as we know, the best leaders, teams, and organizations cultivate belief in all that they do. And so as you step back and you study this, and of course many of you listening to this know that this is the work that I do with teams and organizations of helping them develop their thinking around how are they developing their people, leadership development, do they have clarity around their mission, their vision, and their values as a team or as an entire company and organization. And then what is that, proactive culture that they want to create? Not just what they are experiencing, but what are they trying to create into the future? And then helping to guide them and strategically think about how do we engage the minds and hearts of people to proactively shape the culture into the future that you want. And so this is the way that I'm wired, and this is the way that I come to these conversations. But as you study and look at successful teams and organizations, and certainly research that is emerging more and more coming out of the pandemic, you see that this belief doesn't just happen by accident. It's a belief that they anchor in everything they do throughout their ecosystem as a culture. And so I want to highlight just a few things. That not only this belief, again, it doesn't just magically happen. It's infused and shows up with caring action in everything that they do. So they believe in the mission. These successful teams and organizations, as you study them, they truly believe in the mission. They know what the compelling mission is. So that's the first thing, is they got to know what it is. And they talk about it all the time, that at the center of everything they're doing is the mission of why they exist, the purpose of why they're together. It's not just about a task or a job. It's a belief in something bigger than ourselves. So we know that they believe in the mission. The other thing about these successful teams and organizations is that they believe in their teammates. They believe in the people around them and show confidence, faith, and trust in the abilities of others. They are relentless about building relationships with each other, bartering trust back and forth, because we know, and if you can listen to past podcasts where I've done about this idea of trusting the process and realizing that trust isn't something we just blindly give. It's bartered back and forth, but these relationships and these teams and organizations realize that they have to barter and build that level of trust with each other. And they believe that the people with them on the journey make them all better, that we are better together, and belief in the people around them. They also believe in the contribution that they can make individually. They believe they can make a positive contribution to the mission, to their teammates, not just external, clients and customers, but they believe that they can make a contribution to the mission. They make a contribution every day to their teammates, and in the role that they play, ultimately to serve the mission and whoever that is on the other end that they are ultimately trying to serve. They know they can make a difference in small ways by caring enough to act. They cultivate that belief in their culture always. It's not a one-time thing. It's not a check-the-box thing. It's not, it's an all-the-time thing. And if you understand, if you've read thermostat cultures or you've listened to any past podcast I've done, and I've referenced the 6 A's of leading change and the change process of how we develop individually or collectively as teams and organizations, as humans, then you know that the process of leading change and developing where we are today to wherever we want to be tomorrow all follows the same pattern. And culture shaping and cultivating belief never stops, but it needs our confidence, our faith, and our trust. It's not just about the talk, it's about the action that follows and our desire to continue to cultivate that belief in the culture by willing to stay committed to the process. Belief leads to a passionate response that we as individuals give, and then we collectively experience as a culture. And all this makes me think about is, am I clear, as I think about it as an individual, am I clear on what my mission is? Do I believe in the teammates and the people around me that I collaborate with and that I lean on in my personal life, in my family, my friends, but certainly in the organizations that I partner with? Do I believe in the mission, and do I believe in my teammates? And do I believe in the contributions that I can make? And hopefully anybody that knows me knows that I do, or else I wouldn't have stepped out and taken the leap of faith that I did in certainly my career path. And am I about cultivating this belief every day, not perfectly, but in everything that I do? That's what this makes me think about. And so as usual, let me leave you with a few questions for you to ponder this week along your journey. What does your culture, however you're thinking about that, culture of your family, friends, culture of your team at work, culture of your entire company or organization, what does your culture believe in? How would you articulate it? What does your culture believe in? How can you cultivate greater belief, confidence, and trust in your teammates, those that are with you on the journey? And what contributions, big or small, do you know that you contribute to that culture? I hope those questions stir up some good stuff with you and get you thinking this week as you ponder the impact that you're hoping to make in your life and your work. I hope today's episode got you thinking in many ways. If a deeper dive into any of these topics is interesting to you, please reach out to us at info@jasonvbarger.com and let us know. We'll continue to design content to help meet you where you are. Lastly, I hope you'll go back and listen to a number of these past episodes. There's so many great things out there that add value to you and hopefully connect with you wherever you are in your journey. Cheers to the path ahead of us in the year ahead. And remember that the future of leadership is you, is me, is us. We need to get clear on the temperature we hope to set, and then be courageous and committed to breathe oxygen into the mindsets and actions that will sustain us on our path forward. Step back, remember, be a thermostat, and breathe good oxygen. Thank you for listening to today's podcast, and I hope the messages and questions stimulate positive change along your path. As always, if these messages resonate with you and add value to your life, I hope you'll help amplify them throughout the world. Please rate, comment, and share on whatever podcast or social media platform you're using. And share this podcast with the people in your life or work who should be part of these conversations. That way, this spirit does, in fact, spread. If these messages or developing leaders and culture would be helpful to you and your organization, please contact us at jasonvbarger.com, jasonvbarger.com. And remember, we are all ambassadors for the culture we want to create in our life and work. We have to own the vision we want to be a part of. The future of leadership is you, is me, is us. Be a thermostat.